Me and somebody that I'm madly in love with, that I've known since I was 17 years old. Child. This man gonna comment on my, babe, why this man commented and I went on his page and I was gonna say something?
Man?
No, stop.
Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. Today we're gonna be talking about why celebrities are hypocrites. Started, let's talk about a hypocrite. A hypocrite is just a person practicing hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is pretty much talking about one thing and acting out another, not practicing what you preach and doing the complete opposite. That's just what it is my definition, but the definition will say something like that. All right. Now we're going to talk about independent feminists. 30 years ago, you had independent women, but they were rare. And guys were actually rooting for them. You know, you'll see a woman and you're like, oh man, she's trying to do what we do. It was fascinating. Me, I grew up in a house where my mom was in the military. So every mom that I seen was completely different. She was nothing like my mom. All the women I seen was sensitive and they were raising children, staying at home. My mom was going to work, doing the same thing as a man. So I seen independence out of a woman at an early age. I grew up with it, that the submissive woman was not common to me, even though that's what my mom was teaching me to be with, was a submissive woman. My mom was never teaching me to be with a feminist or a independent woman. She always told me to be with a submissive woman. Now, as time evolved, around like the mid-90s, you kind of had more women that were independent because you had more women that were single mothers. So you had more women that had to actually get up and go work. Now you had women coming out of divorces that were still making money, but even their alimony and child support wasn't enough for them to support the lifestyle they wanted to live. So you had a lot of women that were actually going to work and collecting child support to support the lifestyle that they were living. This increased as single motherhood increased. Single motherhood started increasing even more around the early 2000s. So you had a lot more women that were praising feminist women that were independent, that have been through things, and really wasn't out there dating because they were too busy working. Now, single motherhood increased by the mid-2000s. And around the mid-2000s, that's when you started getting your Beyoncés and your Destiny's Child. You started getting the musicians talk about it more. And here comes Beyonce with millions of followers, millions of people to influence, especially little young girls that grow up to be adults by the year 2019. It started there. It started with a song called Bills, Bills, Bills. And in that song, Beyonce talks to women, and she's telling the women to tell the men, I'm independent, I'm paying my own bills now. If you cannot pay my bills, then you cannot be with me. So pay my bills if you want to be with me. This song shoots up #1 10 weeks in a row. Over the course of the years, it's managed to sell 30+ million copies, that song. How many men you think went out and bought that song? I don't know many men that's gonna go buy a song that's telling them to pay the woman's bills. And he actually be riding around listening to that. Women bought that song. That's 30+ million women that were influenced by that song. And most of them under the age of 18 in 2005. Big influence. Sells over 30+ million. See, the female activist that does a speech at a council meeting is not reaching 30 million people like Beyonce is. Beyonce's reaching 30 million people when she starts talking about female independence. She's gonna reach them a little bit faster than the feminist lady with the suit on that's giving the speech who has a low haircut. See, Beyonce goes on to release songs single ladies. If he loves you, put a ring on it. What she's telling the man, if you really love me, ask me to marry you right now. Give me a ring. She's promoting that. Give me a ring. If you want to be with me, give me a ring. So she's putting the pressure on women to put the pressure on men to marry them. Why would you put out a song called Pay Your Bills and now a song Give Me a Ring? You're forcing a man to do something. They started forcing you back in the day just through the music. Say my name. That's some masculinity. She's teaching masculinity into women. These are songs that were selling by the millions. These are millions of people that are influenced at one time. Millions of women that are influenced at one time under the age of 18. That's where most of the influences come from when you're dealing with music. The youth is always the first to be influenced. Feminism wasn't as high as it is now. You have to understand, it started somewhere. And one of the biggest influences started within the music. Beyonce went on to lead a revolution of women that were single and independent, that put a lot of pressure on men and promoted women to not need a man, to not want a man. And if he wanted her, he had to pay for her. He had to buy her. That's what the message in the songs promoted. But as Beyonce got married, and her and Jay-Z run along and start doing their career, and she starts fading to the back end, it opened up lane for another woman to come through and continue the revolution of independence, female empowerment, Nicki Minaj. Now, Nicki Minaj, another influencer. Another big influencer. Once again, there's not no feminist that has put on a suit with low hair at one of these conferences, gave a speech that did any influence compared to Nicki Minaj and Beyonce. See, when Nicki Minaj came to the scene, she was a little bit trashier. She was a little bit more sluttier than Beyonce, because Beyonce killed her on the looks. There was no way Nicki Minaj was gonna outdo Beyonce when it came to the looks. So she had to outdo Beyonce in other ways in order to deliver the message. So she decided to be a little bit more sluttier, but still spoke just like Beyonce. But the difference is, Nicki Minaj was a little bit more masculine. So she represented the girl at the job that could talk like a man, walk like a man, be just like a man. The only firefighter, the only woman firefighter. You know, the only girl at the police department. You know what I mean? She's one of those. She's the only girl at the construction site. That's who Nicki Minaj was when it came to the rap game. She was one of the only female rap women at that time that had control over the men, that could talk to the man like they was a man, that could rap just like a man. She could do everything that a man could do, but disguised as a prostitute. She had a prostitute look with a man's masculinity and sexuality of a playboy, playpen, playgirl. Playgirls. So she brought sexuality, masculinity, and intelligence to the game. And her music spoke how bad she was, how good she was, how she did not need a man, how she crushed every man in front of her, how she's richer than most men, how most men are her son, how they have to bow down to her, how no woman should bow down to a man, how they should do it on her own, how women are supposed to be clowning men. She started that culture. She started the real disrespect to a man. Over 50 million records sold. Nicki Minaj. Over 50 million records sold of women empowerment. Over and over. How many people you think she influenced? Because Beyonce has the Beehive. And then Nicki Minaj has the Barbs. Both of them are well over 20 million women that are following them on a daily basis. The influences keep going. See, Beyonce just went to another side of life. Nicki Minaj became the frontliner for years, and she's held it down. She's promoted it. Now she started wearing the fake weaves. Now look at all the girls, they're wearing weaves. She started the fake booties. Look at all the girls with the fake booties. She started plastic surgery. Look at all the women with the plastic surgery. She started the tattoos. Look at all the girls with the tattoos. She brought thought culture. She introduced thought culture, and women decided to follow thought culture. This is what we have. We have a whole bunch of women that are influenced by Nicki Minaj, and you can see it every time you walk down the street. You can see it everywhere you go, the influence and where the influence came from. That's what's been happening in the past 10 years, because over the past 10 years, Nicki Minaj has been the face of this movement within the music, because Beyonce fell behind the scenes. She only comes out and speaks about it whenever it's going to make her some money. Like when she did the Super Bowl halftime show, you know, stand up for your rights, women's rights. You know, she came in and solidified what Nicki Minaj has done. But then Nicki Minaj fell back. She hit the wall after Beyonce hit the wall. So it had to come in someone else. Now, who could come in and speak independently and do everything worse than everybody else? Cardi B. Cardi B was influenced by both of them. See, when Cardi B came to the scene, she came straight from Love and Hip Hop. Before Love and Hip Hop, she came from being a stripper. Before being a stripper, she came from being a prostitute.
Tell us about your life.
You mean my life as a prostitute?
Yes, as a prostitute.
Oh, well, you know, when I stayed in the Quentin, you know, I charge $60 a pop. But when Daddy get the good hotel, the Marriott Courtyard by Sycamore Street, I charge $200 a pop. But that's when me and Daddy do good. That's when we catch good licks. You know, I've been working for Daddy ever since I was.
And she's admitted to all of this. She's been a prostitute. She's been a stripper. She's been a reality show guest. She's been a music artist. And now she's one of the richest and most popular celebrities on the planet. Are you noticing a trend here? The celebrity feminists that are promoting this independence kept getting worse and worse and worse. The quality of a woman got worse and worse and worse. The quality of the leader got worse and worse and worse. I'm still trying to figure out, how does an ex-prostitute, an ex-stripper, an ex-reality show, and a female rapper is part of a politic campaign? Presidential campaign. How is she part of that? Because she leads the agenda. She has all the dum-dums thinking that they can do that too. So they're influenced by it. They took the worst of a woman and made her a leader for people to follow. Why? Because the worse she is, the worse she can influence women to be. See that? Their musical influences got worse and worse and worse and worse. Now, one thing that I didn't do at the beginning of this video that I should did was tell you the percentage of a woman that I thought this was. And me personally, I think that out of women that are influenced, I'm gonna probably say 75% of youthful women are influenced by music. Music has a lot of influences over them. But these are the main 3 female celebrities with millions of followers that have sold millions of records promoting this lifestyle. They have reached a broader audience than any of those female activists that put on a suit and go give a speech. They're only reaching, you know who they're reaching? They're reaching housewives that want to be like them, but them housewives ain't dumb because they too old. They're like, man, I've been with my husband 50 years. I ain't going nowhere, but it's cool to listen to her. And then a couple little single girls that are out here running around that eventually gonna hit the wall and crack anyway. Most of these women are not gonna stay feminists. They're going to crack. But you have a good amount of women that are not gonna be able to crack and still get a husband. See, even though the quality of the celebrity feminist musician that's doing influences got worse, they all have one thing in common that other girls that they influence would not have in common with them, is that they're all married. They're all married. See, Beyonce's married to Jay-Z. She's made so many songs about how women should act and if the man ain't doing it, she should leave him. But she's made so many songs about how Jay-Z cheated on her, especially with the Becky. Remember how she caught him cheating with the white girl? She's made plenty of songs talking about how she's not leaving her husband, even though he cheated. The same thing, most women are gonna divorce you and take everything for her. She didn't leave him because she sees the value. She sees if she leaves, she'll be replaced very soon, very quickly, very fast. She sees the red pill in Jay-Z. She's infatuated with that. She understands that she could be replaced because she's hitting the wall. She's getting older. She knows that. She's stuck in there. Nicki Minaj. She went back and married the first guy she ever fell in love with that played her for another girl. She didn't go and be with no celebrity. She only was dating those guys, but she went and married a guy who wasn't a celebrity that already had her before she was famous, that played her before that. She went back and married the guy that treated her the worst. Because he had that red pill flowing through. Cardi B. She married to Offset of the Amigos. Look how many times he's been arrested. Yeah, you got him on stage asking him to marry him, but look how many times he got caught. Look how many times he got caught cheating. And then they had to keep their career. They're just putting on an act. All this is act. They're celebrities. They're all acting. They're all acting. They're getting paid to act. But let me tell you something. The influences that those women have done to our generation of women have made these women ineligible to be married. You got them independent. Now they feel like they don't need a man. That's what Beyonce did. You don't need a man, woman. You don't need a man, woman. But she went home to her husband. Nicki Minaj came in saying, listen, fuck these guys. Outdo them, have sex with them, kick them to the curb. Have sex with them, kick them to the curb. Have sex with them, kick them to the curb. You know what I'm saying? She's married, going home. But every girl out there having sex with a man and kicking him to the curb and feeling like she's too independent to act needy for him, she can't get a man. See, their influences have damaged women. These women would never be able to get a man because of the influences that the artists have done to them through the music. Think about any girl running around here trying to be Cardi B now. You honestly think somebody's getting ready to wife this up? You think a logical man will wife up Cardi B if she wasn't famous? You gonna wipe up an ex-prostitute? You gonna put a ring on an ex-prostitute? Did you see what she looks like when she takes that makeup off? You see what any of them look like when they take that makeup off? It's a sad story. But you want to know the saddest story? Is the influence that music has done on youthful women over these years that have them to where they're at now. And everyone that influenced them to be the way that they are now have ran along and got married and they're with their husband. But these girls are so damaged they would never be married again. The damage is done. The men woke up before the women. The women haven't even seen exactly how they have been hypnotized through all of this. They became worse through the music, but the people that influenced them are now off living their best life in a relationship. But these women can never get a relationship because now you got men that don't even want them. This is how your celebrity is a hypocrite. Switching bait. She baited them in so they could sell millions of records, and then they switched on them and did the complete opposite of what they preaching in their music. It's only 3 of them. But look how many women they changed. Still changing to this day. The sad part, the women don't even see what's been done to them. This is Anthony Spade. I hope the message was delivered today. I hope you guys sat through the whole video and watched it and got the message that was delivered. If you got the message that was delivered, I need you to comment, like, subscribe, and I need you to share this video. Because I'm about to be coming with some heat. I'm studying every day. We coming with heat. Take this message, share it, pass it along. Make sure women see it. But before they see it, comment, like, subscribe. Hasta la vista.